Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. So off and on for the past few months, I've been covering lawsuits pertaining to Joy-Con drift. There's a variety of different groups, firms that are suing Nintendo. Some class action lawsuits that are saying Nintendo essentially put a defective product out there with the intent of making people have to buy them more often. And other companies in the past have been accused of this. I think some people have accused Apple of making crappy charging cables because you have to buy brand new ones every few months or so. But yeah, the consensus is that Joy-Con drift is purposely a thing by Nintendo to entice people to go and buy more Joy-Cons. It is a weird gray area because I feel that there's no real way to prove a statement like that. Nintendo initially denied that Joy-Con drift was a thing, and then they offered to help repair Joy-Cons that needed it. So it's kind of like a weird situation that's been going on for a couple of years. Honestly, it's a mess. I don't see this situation being solved until the Switch is long gone and they already invented a brand new type of controller. It's just difficult to really place who's at wrong here. Because you could say, screw Nintendo, they're corporate, they don't care about the consumers, they just want money. And then you could say that the people suing Nintendo are just greedy and they're complaining to complain, and that you could just take care of your Joy-Cons better and clean them and you won't suffer from Joy-Con drift. It's a real big gray area, but it's really interesting to see developments of a case like this, because I can't recall something happening like this in gaming. So that's why I've been following it kind of loosely on the channel. So let's go ahead and read it. BEUC launches Europe-wide complaint against Nintendo for premature obsolescence. So following nearly 25,000 complaints from European consumers, BEUC and its members have submitted a complaint about Nintendo to the European Commission and National Consumer Protection Authorities for systematic problems with the functionality of the Nintendo Switch console. So this could get heavy, this situation, honestly. Again, it's a big gray area. You can't flat out say that Nintendo purposely did it. This will get settled some way, in some form, probably in another 2 years, easily. Nintendo is probably going to settle to shut up people. I think they even in the past had lawsuits over Wii remotes, and it almost seems like somebody's always suing Nintendo. There's always a lawsuit. And I believe Microsoft is actually having a lawsuit right now with Xbox controller drift as well. It's almost like you can't make people happy. But at the same time, you know, you have to take consumer complaints into consideration, especially if there's 25,000 across Europe. So consumer complaints have been received across Europe: France, Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, Italy, Norway, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Greece. Jesus, that's a lot of countries. Consumers have expressed their dissatisfaction with a recurrent technical problem with Nintendo Switch controllers, commonly referred to as Joy-Con drift. This causes the game's characters to move without touching the controller, making the console unusable. And I've witnessed it. I've had it myself as well. It is a thing. So according to consumer testimonies, in 88% of the cases, the game controllers broke within the first 2 years of use. On behalf of consumer groups in affected countries, BEUC has submitted a complaint to the European Commission and National Consumer Protection Authorities for premature obsolescence and misleading omissions of key consumer information on the basis of the EU's Unfair Commercial Practices Directive. So, I mean, this is serious stuff, guys. This is serious actions being taken against Nintendo. BEUC and its members are calling for a Europe-wide investigation into the issue and for Nintendo to be obliged to urgently address the premature failures of its product. Until then, the faulty game controller should be repaired for free, and consumers should be properly informed about the limited lifespan of the product. Since coming onto the market, the console has sold more than 68 million units worldwide, many of which are in Europe. So, I do know Nintendo has offered to repair Joy-Cons free for at least over a year, maybe even going on 2. at this point, that's really all they can do. Like, are they going to create a new Joy-Con now in the middle of their console's life? And or just wait until the next console comes out and make sure the next controller works properly. To me, it just seems that Nintendo honestly is in a hard place. Again, you could say, oh, they're a corporate company that doesn't care about their consumers and all this stuff. You could say F Nintendo. I mean, honestly, this is such a gray area in my opinion. So it goes on to say the BEUC Director General Monique Goyen said, consumers assume the products they buy to last an appropriate amount of time according to justified expectations, not to have to pay for expensive replacements due to a technical defect. And I see the argument here, guys. Honestly, don't get it twisted on my behalf. I am a Nintendo fan, but I'm not defending them and saying that they're not completely out of the wrong on this. The argument from this directive general from the BEUC is pretty substantial. It does make a lot of sense. When you buy a high quality product, you expect it to last, and some kind of transparency. Evidently, there's enough of an argument here for them to say that Nintendo is obsolete in their motives. You can see it says Nintendo must now come up with proper solutions for the thousands of consumers affected by this problem. Again, fixing the Joy-Cons right now is their solution. I don't know what else they're supposed to do. It is kind of interesting. Now, they do say it's high time for companies to stop putting products onto the market that break too early. I can't argue with that. Creating unnecessary electronic waste completely goes against the objectives of the European Green Deal. So now we get into, I guess, carbon footprint and all that. To help combat this problem and to help consumers make the right purchase decision, manufacturers should be obliged to provide pre-purchase information on product durability to help consumers make both more informed and more sustainable choices. Whew, so this is a lot to take in. I'm definitely going to be following the situation to see what happens, along with all the other Joy-Con drift lawsuits. This is European-wide, though. This is probably really big. I don't know what could come out of this, honestly, and I don't see this ending anytime soon or being settled anytime soon. I'm just loosely following this because I do find the situation interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and subscribe if you haven't. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.